Hello, everyone. Steve Siebel back with publicspeakersblog.com. Hope you're staying strong and you're staying safe in your social distancing and all those COVID-19 things that we all have come accustomed to doing. I get asked all the time, how did you build a seven-figure speaking business in the first 5 years of your career? How did you continue to build it over the next 23 years? And one of the ways we did it, frankly, that I haven't seen too many other speakers use that have made seven figures, that have a seven-figure business, is the use of the national media. So the question is, how do you use the media to build a seven-figure speaking business? Well, it's really simple. The media is, in our business, the media is most important for one thing, and that's credibility. When you're on ABC News, NBC News, Fox, CBS, CNBC, MSNBC, you name it, it gives you credibility that you can't buy. Literally, you can't buy it. I mean, they either endorse what you do and they believe in what you do, and that's why they put you on, or they don't. And most speakers, what I've found is, I've spoken about this when I was the chairman of the National Speakers Association's $1 Million Speakers Group back in 2011. I had my publicist do a presentation for the organization. Brian Tracy was there. Diana Boer was there. I think there were 39 of us that year that qualified out of 5,000 people around the world for the $1 Million Speakers Group. And they saw what we did. My publicist did a case study on how we spent about $100,000 that year doing press around the country on my books mostly. And we made about 1.2, I think it was 1.2 million in profit just on the business we received from the national television interviews and radio interviews and print interviews. And I remember Brian Tracy coming up to me and saying, I think it's great. I see what you're doing. I don't really want to do that, but I get it. And I think he was one of the only people that really, at least that said something to me, that really understood it. And no one took us up on it. A couple of people did a few interviews with my publicist and got a few interviews and did a little bit, but no one in that group, to my knowledge, ever really took it up. Well, that was 9 years ago, and we've continued to do media. I've done, since the COVID-19 shutdown, I think I've done 13, I think it's 13 television interviews. I have 2 more scheduled, one in Toledo on ABC, Toledo, Ohio, and one on WABC New York coming up right after that. And so during the shutdown, I'll probably have done roughly around 15 television interviews, multiple newspaper interviews, magazine interviews, online print interviews, and of course, radio interviews we do all the time. And I've never stopped doing media, and it's always created seven-figure success. So this is one of the reasons. I think it's the primary reason you want to look into doing media. One is because it works. 2 is because no one seems to get it, or no one seems to want to put the time or the money or the effort into doing media in this industry and in any meaningful way. There are people that get on TV once in a while here and there. I talk to the press every single day. I've talked to 3 reporters today because we've been doing it for about 10 years straight. And so we know everyone in the press, and I promote other speakers in the press. I promoted them all over the country and that type of thing, especially our Bill Grove workshop, speech workshop graduates I promoted, and help them learn how to do publicity. And some of them are out there doing publicity. Alok Trivedi's one of them, Dr. Alok Trivedi. There's a few of them out there doing it. And I don't think they obviously haven't done it to the extent I have because they're newer speakers, but they've had some success with it. The key is you got to do it, and you got to do it all the time on a regular basis. You can never get out of the media because it's a very big world and there's a lot of noise out there. And if you're a non-celebrity like most of us are, then you got to get out there all the time. You got to keep your face and your name in front of people all the time. So consider mounting a national media campaign along with one of your books, your first book, or whatever you want to do, and get out there and get in the press. Get on CNBC. Talk to ABC News. I was talking to the Wall Street Journal this morning, who I've done probably 50 interviews with over the years. You can't buy that kind of credibility. Right now, we've got this book out called How Money Works, Stop Being a Sucker. And the book has sold over 300,000 copies. It's been all over the press. And it's been endorsed by CNBC, ABC News, on and on and on. And so that's really helped us sell a lot of books. Over 300,000 copies in 6 months. It's the #1 selling personal finance book in the world right now. I've never had a #1 bestseller for 6 months. That's just it's very unusual, at least for me. And so consider doing a national press campaign and see what it does to your speaking career, especially now, you guys, when all these speakers are about to go out of business. I know that's not a nice thing, and I feel bad for them, just like I did when they went out of business in the recession. But most speakers don't really build a business. They just build a speech. So when the speeches stop, their money stops because they're really not business people. They're just speakers. And there's a big difference between the two. So you want to build a business. You want to build a media campaign behind it, and do it now, right now, if you possibly can. And in the next 6 months, while there are not going to be many speeches that are going to be given live because it's too risky for lawsuits for companies and or associations and anyone else that puts on a meeting. You go to a meeting, you work for a company, you get sick, you sue the company for millions of dollars. They're not going to take that risk. So it's over for 2020, most likely, for the most part. Shoot for 2021, and you may have a chance to pass people that either get out of the business or completely scale their business back because they didn't prepare financially for a crisis like this one. And you could be in the top 10%, 5% of speakers, and half the time it would take if this shutdown never occurred. Think about that. That's a pretty big deal. That's pretty difficult to do. A lot of speakers are retiring right now because they're just done with it. And a lot of them are going out of business because they're not financially solvent enough to sustain and endure during the loss of income, the shutdown and everything. So something to think about. Okay. Oh, and by the way, don't forget to attend the Bill Grove Speech Workshop, August 21 through 23rd, 21st to 23rd, 2020 at the Bone Allen Mansion, my house. And it's going to be great. We're going to social distance. It's going to be a very small group because of social distancing. And we'll talk about media, talk about marketing, talk about speaking, and how you can put yourself on the map in this business in 2021. Okay. So thanks for watching the Public Speakers Blog, and I'll see you next time. Take care.